Hello, and welcome back to the White Pube podcast. I'm ZM, and it is Sunday, the 29th of March, 2026. It's not actually, it is Saturday. But it took me ages to do the mental maths on the date there. Sorry, I'm not going to cut this. I'm just going to keep going. This is my third take. If you don't know, the White Pube is a website that I run with my friend and collaborator, Gabrielle de la Puente. Gab is up in Liverpool, I am down in London. And between these two cities, we take turns to write about something every week. Most of the time it is art or exhibitions for me, but that can also mean like music, books, films, telly, video games, whatever takes our fancy on any given Sunday. We put those texts on the whitepube.com, but this podcast feed is where we put the audio versions so you can listen to us, the writers, read our own words in our own voices if this is your format of choice, which it is. So hello, welcome. I will say as well, if you can hear my kitchen tap in the background, I am so sorry. It is like just so leaky and it's just percussion that blends into the chronic backdrop of my every waking moment. It There's no way that it is annoying you more than it annoys me. So apologies in advance. I'm going to read this week's text. I'm going to give you the emoji, and if you like, you can comment that in an Instagram post, and that is just so I know that I'm not talking into the void, because I often feel like I am. I'm not sure anyone listens to these podcasts, so prove me wrong and give me the heebie-jeebies by reminding me that people listen to this. Okay, I'll read the text. The moment is Charli XCX's Brat Summer mockumentary, directed by Aidan Zamiri. I was sat in the denim reupholstered seats at Rich Mix with a large glass of wet red wine in my hand. I watched girls with city bags and slick back buns traipsing around me. I thought about how this was all very meme account starter pack. Then the film started and I was blasted with acid green, cyan blue titles. Charli XCX in black and white, sliding round on a transparent floor. It feels like my eyes are getting jet washed, I thought. The moment starts at the arse end of Brat Summer. Charli is planning an arena tour. The record label wants the whole Brat thing to last forever, so now Charli's stuck. Does she let Brat die and move on to other things? That would be the creatively healthy thing to do, but before Brat, she was languishing in semi-obscurity. This album was a moment, propelling her to the culture's pinnacle. Letting go of it now feels too soon, even if hanging on feels cringe. Charli films What's in My Bag video for Vogue, does a deal for a Brat-themed credit card, meets and greets. The label forces her to work with a pushy filmmaker called Johannes, Alexander Skarsgård, as a Namaste white South African, to make an Amazon Prime concept film. He butts heads with Charli's longtime creative director, Celeste, until it all bubbles over. Charli throws in the towel. She goes to Ibiza for a spa break, runs into Kylie Jenner, posts misinformation about the Brat credit card and causes the credit crunch, comes back to London to find that the label has fired Celeste and given Johannes free reign. Oversized glittery lighters, aerial aerobics choreography, pyrotechnics. Alienated from her music, which has been turned into something different and wrong, she gives up and lets the label and Johannes do what they want. And the film ends with a fake advert for Brat Live, a glitzy showstopper that feels more like the Eras tour. I left Rich Mix and walked home. And as I walked, my thoughts appeared to me in a straight line. I know it's not true, but I'm sure this story started from a real place. I imagine Atlantic, Charli XCX's real life label, were pissing themselves with excitement at the totalitarian cultural takeover of Brat. The music industry is a machine at large, like the art industry and fashion and all the other ones, and none of them care about the intricacies of cultural production. They care about making money. They are conservative, risk-averse, uninterested in experimentation and innovation. They don't care about artists who want to make art. Well, they do, but only if the art you make is monetizable. If this was an industry, and artists were actually directly making a tangible material product like cinnamon buns, toasters, roof tiles, then this would all be very clear cut. But it's not, because the cultural industry functions along an axis of meaning and desire. What do you want to make? What do you want to engage with? What do you want this to mean? It's a deeply unpredictable market. None of it is rational. The industry and all the bozos in charge are completely reliant on artists making something that they have no ability to produce for themselves. In the moment, this is laid out for us very clearly. Okay, excuse me. Oh my God. I thought I was going to sneeze again. Sorry, I'm not cutting this. I'm going to keep going. In the moment, this is laid out for us very clearly. Before the big meeting with the big bitchy boss, the UK label people realised they're all wearing the same thing, copying each other's poser outfits. When Charli speaks, they nod like sycophants, unable to tell her the truth when she asks for their opinion. Johannes tries so hard to understand what Brat is, but he misses the mark every time. Celeste understands Brat implicitly. Her and Charli speak without explaining themselves. The film presents the artist's work as a practice of being in the know, having the right taste, the right vision, being able to make the right choices. The artist is uniquely capable of producing something valuable because it's cool. And here is my disdain. Coolness is a kind of death sentence. Calling something cool is like effectively dismissing it. But it's also a shorthand we use to talk about things that feel exciting, energetic, things that rip through the culture, pull people in. Coolness is a volatile quality, the irrational actor in that unpredictable cultural market. Once you produce something cool, as a ticking clock, you become aware of its impending death. Once you produce something cool, an entire industry descends around it and tries to extract money from it, turning it into a product, and then it dies. It's too easy to say the cool thing dies because the industry descends and extracts money from it. The extraction of money is the fatal blow to something as fragile as coolness. That feels like only half the truth. I think algorithmic social media has flipped the cultural industry into a hell dimension. We are all consumers. Producers have to beg for resources. The people with all the power and money are tapped in the head. None of the industry bozos are cool. They can't even put together an outfit, let alone a coherent, desirable cultural product. Johannes cannot get to grip with something as abstract and wordless as a vibe. They are middlemen, glorified office workers. They aren't cool themselves, just cool by proximity. In these deficiencies, they should be precarious. But in the context of the industry hell dimension, they have all the power and money, so somehow they're the stable ones. But it's not the case that despite this hell dimension scenario, cool things get made. If artists want to produce something within this hell industry, they have to make it cool. There is something about coolness as a quality that I feel deeply disdainful about because it feels like a shiny gimmick, a compromise. It feels like coolness only appeals to people who need to co-opt it to have it. That's the value of its function in relation to desire. You want it because you do not have it yourself. And that feels like a very hollow way to engage with culture, but that's not where the film ends. The moment was affirming because it presented a vision of the music industry as an industry. Clueless bozos with too much influence, fragile artists with no agency over the legacy of the things they make. This is plopped into a cinematic container that's abrasively simple, like the Lizzie McGuire movie, Spice World, or Viva S Club, but for adults 25 to 35 who really like Negronis, and not just because everyone else is ordering them. But, my disdain. The moment was interesting because it presented a vision of how coolness functions as a commodity and how it might be destroyed. When Charli meets Kylie Jenner at the Ibiza spa, Kylie says, "Just when people are sick of you, that's when you double down." Before Charli goes on stage for the first night of Johannes's Brat Live monstrosity, she records a voice note to Celeste that doubles up as a soppy end-of-film monologue. She says, "It's not chic to be the last one to leave the party, but I just never want the party to end." Coolness is volatile because it dies. Maybe that is the only way to be cool and evade the death sentence. Keep going, even though it's dead. When it's uncool, ugly, bad, or cringe, I guess then the art is finally all yours again. And then I'm aware that's an abrupt end, but I I think I'll leave it there. I like to leave it there. Thanks. That's the review. Um, and then if you are listening to this, which you are, please can I have on the Instagram post, can I have an emoji of this is all real time. This is all like live in real time. I'm literally just pressing the emoji button to scroll through the emoji. Please can I have the like maybe like the OG cool guy emoji, like the guy with the sunglasses that's smiling. Smiling face with I swear he's called cool emoji. No. Okay. Can I have him, please? And I will see you next time in 2 weeks' time. Not next Sunday, the Sunday after. Okay, okay. Bye.